Hey folks, welcome to another review with yours truly, Sam Healy. Today we're taking a look at Planet from Blue Orange Games. And this is a game where you're basically trying to build the most hospitable planet for a bunch of different species of animals. So let's get down to the table. Planet is played over the course of 12 turns, where people are going to be adding these tiles to their planet cores, trying to build a hospitable planet for the different animal species that are trying to populate it. The first thing you'll do on a turn is take these planet tiles or continent tiles and set them out so that everybody can see them. Then the first player, whoever has this token, will choose one of those tiles to add to their planet core. Once everyone has chosen a tile for their planet core, the remaining tiles are placed face down on the 11th turn's track. And then once this reaches 5, you'll start placing them on the 12th turn. And that's how the game continues for the first 2 rounds. On the third round, you'll do the same thing with placing continent tiles on your cores first. But then starting in the third round, you'll have a second phase where the origin of life begins, where players are going to be looking at their planets and trying to meet the requirements of the card. There are 3 kinds of cards in the game for these different species. This card is asking the planet to have the most of one kind of region on the core. This one is asking to have the largest region that is not next to this region. And this is asking for having the largest of this kind of region that is not touching this kind of region. So for example here, this card, this animal is wanting the largest mountain region that is not touching a desert region. So if we look at these planets that are out here, this planet actually has the largest mountain region that's not touching a desert region, because it has the one that's right down here, and everybody else, their mountains touch a desert region. So this card would be awarded to this player. If there's a tie where the card cannot go to one specific player, it's simply added to the next row and it will be fought over again in that next round. And the game continues in that manner until all of the tiles are on these planet cores, and everybody's planet cores has no empty spaces in it. So at the end of the game, once all of our planet cores are filled up with all of these tiles, then you're going to go into the scoring phase. Now, you each have secret objective cards, and you're trying to go for those certain planets, to have as many areas of those planets as you possibly can. So for example, with this special objective down here, if you have 11 areas on your board, then you're going to score, on your planet, then you're going to score an extra 2 points at the end of the game. If you have 14 areas, then you're going to score 4 points. So maybe you're going to be able to get this or maybe not. So you count how many areas are actually on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this person missed getting their 2 points, so they won't actually score any points for this, but you'll also score points for these different kinds of species that came and populated your planet. If they match your special, your secret objective, then you'll score 1 point for each of them. If they don't match, you'll score 2 points. So since this person got 3 species to go onto their planet, that don't match their secret objective, then they're going to get 2, 4, 6 points for this setup. This person over here was trying to get desert areas. So if they get 13, they'll score 2 points as the basis. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they actually scored 13. So they get 2 points from that. They'll get 1 point from this. So that's 3. And then 5, 7, 9, and 11 points for this person. And the rest of the people will score their points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. There are rules for ties in there, but I'll leave that to you. let's get back to my final thoughts. So that's about it for Planet from Blue Orange Games. I wanted to say, first of all, that this has a gimmick that I think really works. The cool gimmick about this game is that all of these tiles are magnetic and they kind of stick to the planet and they kind of don't come off very easily at all. Now, you can grab it the wrong way and it kind of puts off a little bit, but as long as you're paying attention to how you pick up your planet core, you're not going to be messing around with these at all. So that's the cool gimmick part about this game, the fact that they're magnetized and the fact that they all kind of stay on there and kind of click into place. I really did enjoy that about the game, and I think that's a cool gimmick. Usually I'm not a huge fan of gimmicks, but this one works because you actually have that feeling that you're putting your planet together. So it kind of really speaks to that creative element that all of us have within inside of us. So that's a cool thing. As far as the game is concerned, it's almost a very kind of Zen-like experience. There's not a whole lot of interaction between the different players of the game because you're all kind of working on your own planet. Now, the interaction does lie in taking that tile that's really going to help somebody else. Even though it might not help you very much, there is that kind of take that element to it, but it's really light. It's really kind of in the background. You're usually simply trying to work with the choices that are given to you and what you've already made. So you're always trying to maximize, I guess you could say, what you're doing on your planet with the choices that are given to you. And having that being said, the turns usually go pretty fast. There usually doesn't get bogged down with people spending too much time trying to do this or do that. With my experience, at least, I can see how that could be a problem, depending on the players that you're playing with. But generally speaking, I didn't run into that. People have usually been very expedient, I guess you could say, about choosing which ones which tile would be the best for them to take. So as we get into the pros of the game, from my perspective, I really did, first of all, like the gimmicky nature of putting your planet together. But on top of that, the color that makes it really pop, because you really feel like you have a globe in your hand at the end of the game. And I like that. It gives you a sense of accomplishment, but at the same time, it's also very pleasing. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the game where, yeah, it is gimmicky, but it's also very satisfying. And so when you have a gimmick, I think it needs to be satisfying. It's not just having a gimmick for the sake of having a gimmick. It's a satisfying thing. And so that's why this is my first pro. Secondarily, I like the fact that you're trying to find those animals that are trying to populate your planet. You're trying to have that origin of life. You're trying to make your planet so where the animals are going to be able to live in that habitat. And I like that kind of dual nature. It's not just making this look good. You're also trying to make it functional for the different species that are trying to find a place to live in the universe. So I liked that aspect of it. And I liked the depictions of the different animals on the cards. They're not mind-blowingly cool or anything like that, but it's just enough to provide that hook that will pull you into the theme of the game. Thirdly, I think that the secret objectives that each player has is just enough to keep people guessing. Usually, though, I've found about halfway through the game, you can pretty much guess who has which secret objective. Now, it is a 4-player game, and the game does come with 5 secret objectives. So one will always be out. The secret objectives were a cool little thing, and it's almost kind of an intuitive thing to add into this kind of game. But it worked, and I liked it. but it could have gone without it as well. I think you can either play with or without them, and it works just fine. And finally, my fourth pro of the game is the fact that it scores very easily. It's actually, in some ways, a little bit more difficult to figure out which planet wins the different species cards throughout the course of the game. It's harder to do that than it is to score at the end of the game. And that's why that's a pro, because at the end of the game, you're done playing, you kind of just want to find out who won and kind of move on to the next game, maybe talk and chat a little bit about the game. But generally speaking, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time figuring out who won the game. So all in all, with my rating here, I'm going to give this one thumb up. I did enjoy the game. I had fun playing it. It was one that my son Dante picked out, and he enjoyed the game as well. The whole family enjoys the game, but for my taste specifically, this is probably not going to be one that I'm going to choose to play in a game night, or if we're playing games with the family one evening. But if it hits the table, I'll be fine with it. So that's why it gets one thumb up and not two thumbs up. I want to thank everyone for joining me here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to do so. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.